Hi, I'm Professor Lynn Ritchey. In this video, we're going to be looking at Edward T. Hall's sixth primary message system, temporality. Temporality messages are concerned with the definition, function, and the use of time. This is another area that can create many misunderstandings, and we're going to come back to this category again later in this video series. Like territoriality and all the other messages that we've been talking about, time is culturally based. We learn our time orientation from our cultural groups. A great example of time use is the dining experience. In the USA, we learn about the timeline for dining out, and the restaurant staff and customers provide both verbal and nonverbal cues to reinforce the timeline. In casual dining, that's about 1 hour. When a customer arrives, there is an expectation that they will be seated within a given time period. For popular restaurants, people are willing to make a reservation or accept a little bit longer waiting period. Once seated, the customer might have the expectation that the server should arrive tableside fairly quickly, 5 minutes. Once the food order is placed, the customer might expect it to arrive within a reasonable time, 10 to 15 minutes. The customer is expected to eat in about 30 minutes, and the check and bill would arrive before or 5 minutes after the completion of the meal. Most diners will become irritated or even angry when time expectations are not met. We might also see that people will reduce the amount of tip that is left a server if time expectations are not met. In the USA, many of our servers are dependent on tips based on their service to customer. But the wage structure of servers promotes a mentality about quickly turning tables. And in most situations, the customer and the server are in agreement with the timeline. But what happens when a customer violates the time expectations of the server? Are you staying too long after receiving your check? What about location? What's the difference when we look at urban versus rural versus coastal versus island? When we start looking at time orientation, many people from the USA have trouble shifting their time orientation when they visit countries that have a more relaxed definition of time, like the Caribbean, Central and South America, Africa, and some Asian Pacific countries. So this is really an important one for us to understand, especially if we are traveling, but it also helps us here at home to recognize that not everyone has our same time orientation. We are going to come back to this in a later video and explore a little bit more deeper when we are looking at this time orientation. Okay, we'll see you soon.